Oh, no, we got a new one. How long ago? A couple months ago, like not too long ago.
Thank you. You bet I will.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. It's okay. No, no, no. It's on my end, the technical side of everything.
Okay, I call this meeting to order at 6:05 PM. Can we do the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, agenda item C, roll call. Commissioners Chu, Garcia, Present. Johnson,
Here.
Murphy. Here. And Vice Chair Kostecki.
Here.
I would like to remind the audience that if they wish to address the commission, they must submit a green request to speak form located at the podium in the back of the council chamber. Citizens can submit public comment to the commission electronically no later than 1 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Comments received before the deadline will be sent to the commission and will be part of the record and will be mentioned as part of the public comment portion of the agenda. Material may be emailed to cityclerk@cityofmerced.gov and should be limited to 300 words or less. Any correspondence received after 1 p.m. will be distributed to the commission and retained for official record. Agenda item D, public comment. Vice Chair Kostecki, the clerk's office did not receive any public comment and there is nobody in the audience. Agenda item E, consent calendar. E1, Tax Transparency Commission minutes of May 14th, 2025.
Is there a motion to accept those minutes?
A second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Murphy and a second by Commissioner Garcia. Vice Chair and Commissioners, please cast your vote. And the vote passes unanimously. Agenda item F, action items. F1, Measure C, Revenue and Expense Reports, June 30, 2025.
Good evening, Commissioners. So this evening, I will present in the Measure C quarterly report, and in your packets, you did receive that. Let me remind you that is a preliminary report. We still will be receiving sales tax payments through, through this month. So what the information before you doesn't have the additional payments yet, but we will provide you a final report at the next meeting. So this slide, we did add the new budget year. So for 25-26, we are estimating to receive $9,135,000 for Measure C sales tax. That's only about $35,000 more than what we estimated for the 24-25 year. So we are still not seeing a lot of increases in sales tax. This slide reflects quarter over quarter increases or decreases. And the good thing is that we did receive, so this is reporting first quarter 2024 versus first quarter 2025. So you do see that very small green column at the end there. So the good thing is that it's positive. We had been seeing a lot of red in the last few quarters, so it is positive. Unfortunately, it's only positive by about $9,500, but we'll take that for sure, rather than a decrease. So the last reporting we received from HDL, which is our sales tax consultant, this is the information we received. So again, we had budgeted for 24-25, $9.1 million. The first quarter revenue we received was a little over $2.1 million. So although it was more than last year, it was still under, we like to, every quarter we like to see at least 25% of the budget amount. And we only received 23.8% of what the quarterly budget amount would have been. So quarter over quarter, it is up just a little bit, 0.41%. Again, because of the new sales tax measure that was put in place, we don't have historical data to compare these major industry groups. So I am showing you what we receive for our 1% Bradley Burns, which goes into the general, into our general fund. And so on major industry groups, we're up in the restaurant and hotel areas, building and construction, autos and transportation, state and county pools, and then we're down general consumer goods, fuel and service station, business and industry, and food and drugs. So they tend to mirror each other. Not always, but most of the time they do. So that is the Measure C quarterly report. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
I had a question. So I'm looking at what you just showed us here, and I know that some restaurants have closed. I know there's one on Main Street that recently closed, and obviously Rite Aid closing everywhere. Is that the reason why the last quarter or so, we were so in the red because of those companies that are going out of business or, whatever's
So
going on with
in the last couple quarters, the industries that are up and down have not really changed a lot. So I know you talked about restaurants, right? But we're actually seeing some increases in restaurants and hotels. So a lot of times when one closes, another one opens, right? So they tend to offset each other. Where we have been seeing a lot of reduction is in the general consumer goods, which is where you see your Rite Aid, right? Those kinds of stores closing. So yeah, that's affecting your general consumer goods industry.
I did notice off of 59 and Olive, now with the two gas stations, with the rallies that came in, and then the little food truck area, is that starting to get a lot more revenue because now of that location? Do you happen to know, or is
So
it too early to tell?
Well, because we do a lot of comparison, it's probably early to tell, but also we don't all, so a lot of our reporting concentrates on the bigger businesses. To really get into those smaller businesses, we'd have to do like a really deep dive into it. And so we tend to look at things at a very summarized level. And then we can't put out information on specific businesses. Like if their specific sales tax is going up or down, we have to leave it to major industry groups, or we have to, like if it was a certain area of the city, we would say 5 or more businesses in this area are up or down, but we couldn't say that specific business is up or down.
Okay, thank you.
Did you say that with the consulting company, now they're able to have data that tracks, for example, how much the general consumer goods industry is actually affecting the overall total tax revenue now? Is that right? So moving forward, we'll be able to track that now?
No, we've always been able to do that.
So for example, let's just say general consumer goods. Do we know what percentage drop in general consumer goods and how that actually affected the overall budget? Like how much of the negative quarters were actually due to that specific industry versus like other industries?
Yeah, the reports that we see, that I mean, I give you a very summarized version of them, right? But yes, the reports that we review with them are very detailed. Talks about our top 100, if they've gone up or down. It talks about very specific categories or industry groups. We see very specific businesses, if they've gone up or down, and what those dollar amounts have been. So we do see it on a very detailed level. We just can't always share it in that way. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
How often do you meet with the advisor?
Quarterly.
So how far ahead, advance of what we see here is? are you
So
doing-
this first quarter is for January, February, March, and I think we met with him in July. So it's actually, the meetings tend to be a lot farther than the actual quarter we're representing. So this is where we have a delayed payments and reporting based on the actuals being receipted.
Are there any other questions or comments? Do we have a vote?
Motion to accept the report is given.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Murphy and a second by Commissioner Garcia. Vice Chair and Commissioners, please cast your vote. And the vote passes unanimously. Agenda item F2, Measure Y Revenue and Expense Reports, June 30, 2025.
Okay, so now we'll move on to Measure Y, which is our cannabis tax. So this one is a little bit different in that we know what our revenue is for the entire year. The reports you got don't have everything in there because they do report them in July, and the reports that you have are only through June 30. We will be accruing them back as part of our accounting procedures. But on this slide, I am showing you everything that we have received for last fiscal year. So for 24-25, we actually received a little over 1.6 million. We had, when we were working on budget and looking at budget, we actually thought we would come in a little bit less. So we actually came up a little bit more by 10,000. For next year, we are budgeting at, again, a little over 1.6 million. It's only about a 1.3% increase from what we received in 24-25. So hopefully we're going to start to see a little bit of steadiness there, but it's still kind of hard to tell until we get a couple more years down. So again, this is quarter over quarter, and although we did receive less this quarter, second quarter of 2025 to second quarter 2024 by about 42,000, that's about 10%. But we again, our budgeting is, we're able to be a little bit more steady in our budgeting, and hopefully we'll start to see some steady trends. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Do we anticipate to have more, I don't even know what they're called, weed stores?
Cannabis retailers.
There you go. Do we anticipate to have more stores opening in the next coming years?
And yes, I know that there's a couple of them that are working on it. I don't know the details of all of that. Do you know? Frank or Scott might have some information.
Oh, it works. Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. So just kind of flashback a few years ago, we actually have a competitive process for commercial cannabis. So the council put together a very detailed method to kind of find really good operators to bring into the community. So they actually limited the number of retail operators that we have. It's capped at 5. We currently have 4 that are open, although they've awarded a 5th permit. It's not currently in operation. And so I think they have until the end of the calendar year to get operational, so we're monitoring them pretty closely. This is not all retail, though. There are manufacturing, distribution, and other cannabis types that are not retail. So this includes those sales and those operations as well. On those, there are no set caps on the number of businesses, so those could theoretically grow. I'll give you an example. The old Ragu or Bianchi, is it Bianchi? It's actually a Ragu plant, correct? That is actually a large processing facility for cannabis. And actually the old Bianchi plant, which is on 59, which is close to a retail outlet, that is also a cannabis facility. So those are a couple large facilities that do different types of cannabis activity. So it's not all retail, it's other non-retail as well. But as far as retail sales go, that's capped at 5, but only 4 right now are operational. Again, the 5th one we hope to see come online at some point. So this could change over years depending on what happens, primarily because of the non-retail side of things. The one thing to point out too, kind of when we started this is Merced was well ahead of the curve. When we first started this, you didn't have anybody that was open in Fresno or Madera or Turlock or even in Atwater. And so we had a lot of people who were driving here to buy goods. And now those other communities have those locations where they offer these products. And so there's just more competition. It just is what it is. And so you probably are finding a nice saturation point in our market. And until we grow more, people want to buy more. You're probably not going to see a lot more retail demand for it. But potentially on the non-retail side of things, you might see some more growth. Hope that helps.
I only know where there's one on Olive because I've seen it, but where are the other ones located at?
Oh, you've got one right over here on Main Street. You've got one on 16th Street. And you've got another one at the very end of Main Street. It's near V in Main Street.
Okay, thank you.
And the 5th one was approved on Motel Drive, but it's just not open yet. Formerly the location of the Cool Cats, and I'm not sure what it was before then. It's been many numerous different things.
Handy for the travelers.
Any other comments, questions? Do we have a vote?
Move to approve.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Johnson and a second by Commissioner Murphy. Vice Chair and Commissioners, please cast your vote. And the vote passes unanimously. Agenda item G, business G1, update on the Safe Streets project.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Rick Maddox with the Engineering Department, and I was going to go over some updates on the Safe Street project. So the purpose of the project is to replace, there's a large number of these high-pressure sodium lights, they're the big yellow, the yellowish lights with brand-new LED lights. The LED lights are brighter, they last longer, and they actually provide a savings in electricity. The project is it's a capital improvement project. It's using funds with Measure C, and then also multiple funds from maintenance districts and community facility districts. And so we try to use as much of that maintenance district and community facility districts as possible. Like I said, the new streetlights increase safety for the residents and drivers all across town. We're trying to replace as many as we can. Again, they were replacing those older lights. And the contract was awarded in August of '24. It's just over $1 million. And the original contract was to replace 2,500 streetlights. And here's just an example of the difference in the color. As you can really see the yellow versus the bright white light that you get out of an LED. The project took a little time to get going because there was a long lead time to actually go out and actually buy 2,500 lights. But it's fully going now. We've already replaced 1,700 lights. And because there was extra money, we did a change order and we added an additional 852 lights here recently. So that's a total of 3,352 lights that are under contract to be replaced. Are there any questions about the streetlight project?
I just had one question. When is the deadline to have them completely replaced?
Currently, the project is scheduled to be complete by the end of October.
Okay, thank you.
Is that all the lights in the city, or there's still areas that aren't
There are some that
retrofitted?
will have been missed. And there is some discussion if there's enough money left, we could actually do a third change order and add some more lights.
So was there like prioritization of certain higher traffic areas and then maybe those?
Yes, the priorities were to use those maintenance districts monies and the CFD money. We wanted to, get those people had saved money to pay for this, so we wanted to get them taken care of. And then also we're hitting the main thoroughfares, Olive Avenue, G Street, M Street, R Street. And those were the priorities to get those main arteries.
Is it possible for you to show me the first slide again? The second slide, then, I meant to say.
What's that?
The next one. Thank you. I wanted to look at that. Thank you.
This is an information only, so there's no motion needed. Okay, moving on to G2, update on road pavement projects.
Okay, for this, I just wanted to highlight some, our big projects we have going that involve the road pavement. Under construction right now, we have the Yosemite Avenue project, which goes from G Street to Parsons, and the Main Street one-way project. In design right now, we have a couple of projects on R Street. One goes from Northwood to Olive Avenue. The other one would go on R Street from 16th Street to 18th Street. And those are both pretty close to being done in design and should be put out to bid pretty soon. In addition to that, there's some larger projects out there. There's the McKee Road is scheduled to have a grind and overlay. Highway 59 has a project to widen it to 4 lanes and replace the bridge there at where Olive and 59 come together. And then there's also a project to widen Mission Avenue to 4 lanes. So those are an overview of the main projects. Yosemite Avenue, it's a large project. It's about $5.8 million project. In addition to full reconstruct of the road, it's a large sewer main that's going in as part of this. A 30-inch diameter sewer main's going the full length of the project. That's actually complete now. There's traffic lights that are being upgraded. There's a lot of sewer or curb and gutter and sidewalk that's being replaced and fixed. The road itself, the majority of it's being reconstructed with full depth reclamation, where we're actually doing soil stabilization by grinding off all the existing asphalt and mixing cement into the soil, disking it up and getting it the soil treated that way, and then re-putting the pavement back on the surface. So that project is, it's being done in stages. So right now you'll see the north side of the road is completely ground off. When they get that one done enough to put traffic back on it, then they'll start on the south side lanes. And the project will be going till about the first week in October, I think is the current plan. The Main Street one-way project was a project that allowed us to create a one-way on Main Street from Martin Luther King to O Street. Purposes in this was to provide more parking in the downtown area because it allows for the diagonal parking. It kind of made it a better space for pedestrians and slowed traffic down a little bit. And another benefit is that we needed to take a road diet as part of the Caltrans project that I mentioned before on Highway 59 to eliminate some lanes of traffic somewhere in the city to account for the lanes we're adding on 59. It was a Caltrans requirement for the project. As part of the Main Street project, we resurfaced all of those roads, not only Main Street, but parts of 18th Street and Canal Street with a slurry seal. So the slurry seal, we actually did like a 2-layered slurry seal with aggregate in it to kind of make it a more permanent surface, and a lot of restriping. And like I said, we're adding quite a bit of parking, including handicap parking and motorcycle parking in the downtown area. So are there any questions about any of those projects? Or?
Yes, I wanted to know if you've been using this new regrader for a long time. I just saw it being approved in the budget, and yet it looks like in this picture there's one being used. Is that a replacement for this one?
That's actually equipment that belongs to the contractor that was doing the work. It's actually the machine that laid down the slurry seal right there. The city, Public Works, has a grinder that they purchased. They're actually doing some test projects with it, just to basically to learn how to use it and to find out what size roads and things it would work best on. So we haven't done any major projects with it yet. But yeah, they do have it, and they do have a lot of plans of how they can do things in the future.
And I noticed in the County Times mentioned that the ACE internet people are putting down their cables with the Yosemite project.
Yeah, Race Communications has they're an internet provider, and they're trying to put fiber lines throughout the entire city.
Yeah.
So we're trying to stay ahead of them to let them know when we're going to do road work, to go ahead and get those lines put in before we do the road work, so we don't end up having to dig trenches across a brand new road. So that's why out there on Yosemite Avenue, they went ahead and they rushed their that area so that they could get those fiber lines put in before all the reconstruction started.
All over the city, huh?
Yeah, some of it's underground, some of it's overhead, but they're trying to cover the entire city.
I'm just curious how people are doing with the directional changes on Main Street from a safety standpoint, either drivers or pedestrians, if it's all going smoothly, I hope.
Thank you. Yeah, they're doing, I want to make sure it was on. They're doing real good, actually. It seems like it's more of a natural flow of traffic, so it seems like the citizens were prepared for it. Of course, we did a huge ad campaign to inform them that we were going to be changing the direction, because I was just as nervous as probably everybody up here about how many collisions we were going to have, but I'm happy to report that we really haven't had a lot of problems. The most feedback we get is the happiness of the ease of parking now, because there's so many diagonal spots versus only parallel parking, and parallel parking is still very challenging for people. You know, it's what everybody was afraid of at their driving test, so they're still afraid of it, but the diagonal parking has been very positive. The additional parking has been very positive, and there seems to be like a new rejuvenation of energy to kind of come downtown. You know, now they can't wait for Bob Hart Square to be done, and I know there's big plans from our PIO back there for some upcoming events when Bob Hart Square is open, so stay tuned. But, you know, there's kind of like some new excitement. It's kind of cool to see. We did have a opening day cruise that was very fun, but we, from the police department standpoint, have actually seen a positive change with the direction and the new road. And, you know, I always say this about road construction, you know, from the public safety standpoint, I get a lot of complaints about roads from my office. Everybody hates bad roads, and then they hate waiting for the road to be repaired. So we have to remind everybody that good roads, we have to have patience, because it's a ton of work. And a lot of work went into Main Street and Yosemite and all these things, but the road itself is very nice, and I'm seeing new bike activity. And so we, from the police department standpoint, have seen a very positive kind of excitement about the change.
I had a question. If you can go back to, I think, maybe 2 slides, another slide. There, that one. So the InDesign, can you just talk us through the process? So you guys are designing how you want the roads to be, and then you guys have to make a bid for the money in order to get that started, or what's the process?
There are funds set aside for these projects. We're designing the 2 R Street projects in-house. When we get the design done, we'll put it out to bid through the Public Works contract system, and that it'll be awarded to a local contractor through the bid process.
And what are at least the dates or the timeline that you guys are thinking that those will get started or finished?
Yeah, we're hoping to get at least one of them out to bid before the end of the year.
Okay. And then for the regional projects, what are the timelines for those?
The McKee project's probably going to happen first. It's a project that's being done in conjunction with the county. And so they have a pretty aggressive timeline to get that one started. The other two projects are very long lead time activities. The Highway 59 has been going through a environmental review for quite a while. And right now we're in the process of trying to acquire right-of-way because we're taking the extra property for the extra lanes. We just went through the process to hire a right-of-way consultant to help us do that. So that's a longer lead time project. The project also has some funding questions that we got to get resolved before we can get that one completely going. The Mission Avenue widening project is even further out. We're still right now trying to determine what the actual path of the road would be when we widen it, because there's an MID canal that runs along around Mission, and so if we expand in that direction, we'd have to underground that MID canal, and so we're trying to look at alternatives where we expand in the other direction and kind of see how that would affect different properties and the path through the city. So that project's a little bit further out.
For the 59, you guys are talking about, since right now it's just 2 lanes, you said you want to expand it to 4 lanes?
Correct.
Okay. So that one maybe by next year? No? Thank you for that.
Oh, that would be fantastic. We're only short between $20 to $30 million, so it's not going to be next year.
Yeah, the bridge replacement is a very expensive undertaking, and it's really desperately needed.
So one thing that we can share with you, and I know that Jennifer is familiar with this, we do have updated council goals and priorities for the current fiscal year. And this year, the council asked that we include some capital project slides at the end. And so we have these budgets, and one of them is for road projects. And so Rick mentioned these projects. We actually have these, and you can see some of the shortfalls that we have, and they're huge numbers, right? Like, there's a lot of road work that needs to be done, and there's a huge shortfall of funding. And let's just be realistic. These regional projects use a lot of Measure V funding. Unfortunately, that's competitive funds. We're not the only recipient of Measure V funds. They have to be allocated to other communities, the county. There's an east side and west side allocation. There's only about $13 million planned for the east side over the next couple of years. That's not going to go a long way, especially if we're trying to compete with the Outer Merced Expressway, projects in Livingston, Applegate Road in Atwater. You start to name the list that's out there, it's just not going to go very far, right? So, yeah, it's not going to get done in a couple of years. So we're always looking for other funding sources. That's why we do a lot of requests for earmarks with our elected officials at higher levels. That's why we apply for grants and look for other funding sources. Road projects is really more about funding allocations than anything. We try to have ready-made projects that we can get out the door if we can, but we have to have enough money to kind of get through the design and environmental process. So we're always trying to keep a little bit ahead. What have we got designed? What can we get going? And try to find enough funding to keep them going. That's the challenge. It's hard as a challenge, but we'll see if we can find the link for the materials that we got posted and then get you that link. And you can take a look at the information we're talking about, because it's got a pretty accurate picture as of about end of June, and it gives you an idea of what some of the funding looks like for road projects. The other thing I would add too is every year we do a 5-year capital improvement project budget. And so we try to track all types of capital projects, whether it be water, sewer, other issues. And you start to get an idea of some of the larger scale needs the city has every year, not just roads, but other issues as well.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, agenda item H, business, H1, request to add item to future agenda. And I wanted to mention that we will have the chair and, sorry, not vice chair, just the chair at the next commission meeting in November.
Okay, does anyone have an item they'd like to add to a future agenda? Nope. Is that a vote? Or, no, just move on?
No vote needed.
Okay.
Okay, and H2, commission comments.
Does anyone have any comments? Can we get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Johnson. Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Chu and a second by Commissioner Johnson. Vice Chair and Commissioners, please cast your vote. And the vote passes unanimously.
Okay, meeting adjourned.